75. Alright, I know that was only really 74. Don't at me. How is everyone? I'm gonna go over caricature. This is actually not a bad circle. If you can draw these three shapes, you can draw a face. You can draw anything. For this demo, I will be drawing Shane Orr, who is the husband and coach of the fittest woman on earth, Clair Toomey, and I will draw her as well. I always begin my caricature with a circle and then begin to define the jaw with a rectangle and the chin with a triangle. And from here on out, it's a matter of laying out my basic shapes, circles, triangles, rectangles, in the form of features. And you notice that I'm even thinking of the eyes as eyeballs and the sockets, and really working as quickly as I can to establish all of the form. I'm working with a non-photo blue pencil, which I find helpful for drawing quickly and thinking on paper so that these lines won't interfere with any finalized versions of the form that I come up with later. You probably don't have one of these at your disposal, so what I would advise you to do is to just work very, very lightly with your pencil and go back in to darken that at a later time. So really thinking of building form and carving. This portion of the demo is being played in real time so that you can see the thought process in laying out the forms. Looking for slight exaggeration on placement of the eyebrows and the extreme smile, but otherwise I'm really adhering to the natural proportions and placement of the human facial features. Looking for alignment right there of where the edge of the teeth corresponds with the sides of the irises. Even when you're working on the mouth, you have to consider the impact that that will have on the eyes and the forehead and the chin and the neck. You have to be thinking of the entirety of the face and the drawing all at once because it is all interconnected. So instead of bringing certain facial features to final, you want to really move around the face and develop it simultaneously. So again, thinking of this in terms of searching for form and carving. You notice how the ear begins essentially with a triangle, large shapes that then become whittled down into smaller shapes. You don't begin with specificity, you begin with broad general shape. Now at this stage I've mapped out the placement of all of my base facial features, and I'm switching to my favorite pencil, which is a Ticonderoga, to more firmly establish the shape and form of all of these features. And now I'll be thinking about the direction of the hairs on the eyebrows and the placement of the gums and teeth and the rods and cones in the irises. So if you don't have a non-photo blue pencil, you could even do this with a light blue colored pencil or a turquoise pencil. But at this stage, I'd begin to work with darker pencil line. Now, unfortunately, the camera that I filmed the Shane Orr drawing on turned itself off after 9 minutes, so this drawing will unfortunately not be brought to final here before your very eyes. It will end during this stage. But coming up now, we have the 4-time fittest woman on earth, Clair Toomey. As I mentioned, Shane Orr is her coach and husband, and this is a drawing which you will be able to see the process start to finish. Unfortunately, the demo for Clair Toomey, the camera is blurry and slightly out of focus, but you are able to generally see the process start to finish. So at this stage, after I've established the linear aspects in darker graphite, I'm going in with a blending tool to pull the graphite that has established darks within the hair and the inside of the mouth and the eyebrows, and pulling that out into the skin to establish lighting. For me, that makes this more three-dimensional and sculpted, and if you don't have a blending tool, which you likely do not, you can use a rolled up paper towel to achieve the same effect. It works just as well. And after I've gone through with the blending tool to establish a range of midtones and grays, I then go back in with the graphite one final time to further establish bolder darks that will sit on top and sharpen up detail. And I often go back in with an eraser to establish strong linear highlights. The more you do this, the better you're going to get. Practice makes perfect, right? If you have any questions, please feel free to email me, and I will see you very soon.